Imagine buying your dream home, only to find out your neighbor has been stealing from you for years. Not money, not furniture, but water. My water. And when I found out, I didn't yell, I didn't fight. I just flicked a switch and watched his entire life go up in smoke. Literally. If you've ever felt powerless against someone who thinks they can walk all over you, this story is your therapy. Hit that like button, subscribe for more true revenge tales, and get ready because this one ends with sweet, savage justice. I had just closed the deal on a house right in the heart of the capital. A fixer-upper, sure, but the price was unbeatable, and the location? Perfect. The place had been sitting empty for years. The previous owners, old family friends, moved abroad mid-renovation and just left it locked with a padlock. No proper door lock, no gate, no security. From the very first day, I knew the neighborhood had a vibe. I pulled into my new driveway only to find a stranger's motorbike parked in my garage, like it was some public lot. I moved it onto the street, and by the evening, some old man came knocking on my gate. Angry, red-faced, but I didn't answer. Just watched from the window as he cursed under his breath and wheeled his bike away. I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. The man with the bike? Turns out he was my next-door neighbor. Old. Bitter. Living alone on the first floor of a 3-story house. The upper 2 floors? Rented out to tenants, his only source of income. From what my friends told me, he hated that the house was sold. Thought the neighborhood would change or some nonsense. He even voiced his complaints to them personally before they left the country. I didn't think much of it. I'm 6 feet tall, I've got 3 big dogs, and I mind my own business. I wasn't worried, but I should have been paying closer attention. One evening, while showering, I noticed something odd. My water pressure was weak, almost lazy. And just then, I heard a motor humming from next door. A water pump. I froze. In my country, we need pumps to push water to rooftop tanks. But if my pressure dropped when his pump turned on, what the hell was going on? I waited. As soon as his pump turned off, I checked every tap in the house. Boom. Pressure was back. And that's when the pieces started falling into place. For years, this house was abandoned. Yet somehow, the water bills were rising steadily, more than what even broken pipes could explain. That sneaky old man, he had to be siphoning water from my supply. But how? I couldn't find any obvious piping or illegal joints. Still, I was almost certain, and that certainty started eating away at me. It wasn't the money. Water is cheap here. My bill's barely $5, even with 3 dogs, car washes, and a garden. It was the principle, the nerve of someone thinking they could just steal, without consequence, because the house looked abandoned. I stewed on it for days. Should I confront him? Call the authorities? Let it go. Then it hit me, if I turned off my own water supply at the main valve, he'd get nothing. I wouldn't break any laws. I wouldn't step foot on his property. Just one twist. That's all it would take. So I waited. 4 days ago, Monday, late evening, I sat silently, listening for the faint mechanical hum from next door. As soon as his water pump flicked on, I killed the valve. Now, here's the thing. These water tanks use ball valves. If there's no water entering the tank, the valve stays open. And the pump? It just keeps running, waiting for the signal to shut off. Except this time, there was no water. And that's bad, really bad, because a pump without water overheats. But what I hadn't anticipated was just how old his setup was. Around 3 a.m., I was woken by raised voices, whispers, footsteps, then yelling. Apparently, the pump didn't just overheat. It fried the entire wiring system in his house. Outdated 90s-era circuits couldn't handle the stress of a pump running dry for hours. No power. No water. Tenants screaming. One of them even stormed into the street, shouting about calling the police. I didn't say a word. Just lay there in bed, smiling. In my country, power and water are essential services. If a landlord fails to provide them, he can be fined immediately, no court needed. And that's exactly what happened. Within 48 hours, one tenant moved out. The other filed a police complaint. The landlord, my delightful old neighbor, was fined $500. In US dollars, that might not sound like much, but here, that's a crushing blow, especially for a retired mechanic living off rent. Worse still, he had to refund both tenants' security deposits, fix the wiring, and update the plumbing before he could legally rent again. He couldn't afford any of it. By Sunday, he was packing his bags and moving in with his daughter. Just like that, the man who used my house like his private water tank lost everything. The cherry on top? He came knocking one last time. Calm face, tired eyes. "Did you turn off your water?" he asked. I looked him dead in the eye and said, "Yeah, had a leak in one of the pipes. Shut it off till the plumber came." He just nodded. "Oh, okay." Walked away in silence, but I could see it in his eyes. He knew. He just couldn't prove it, and he couldn't do a damn thing. There was no shouting, no confrontation, no messy lawsuit or police drama, just a quiet flick of a valve. I didn't lay a finger on him, but I burned his life to the ground. He lost his tenants, got slapped with legal fines, was forced out of his home, all because he thought he could keep stealing with no consequences. He thought I was just some clueless new homeowner. Turns out I'm the worst person to mess with because I don't get even with noise. I get even with results. Justice doesn't always need a courtroom. Sometimes, all it takes is knowing the system and watching karma work in silence. Because when someone's been stealing from you, taking what's not theirs, it's only fair they lose what is. If this story gave you chills, or made you want to turn off your own metaphorical valve, hit that like button and drop a comment below. What's the pettiest or most satisfying revenge you've ever pulled off? And don't forget to subscribe for more stories where karma hits hard.